Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're looking at an absolute marvel for Canadian gardens, the hardy yellow fig. It's this fascinating study in botanical adaptation, combining heirloom Mediterranean traits with an astonishing resilience to cooler, damp climates. If you thought growing high-quality dessert-grade figs was basically impossible in a northern maritime environment, well, this journey is going to completely change your perspective.
Picture this for a second. You step out into your own backyard to harvest a fruit with a flavor profile so sweet and rich, it completely defies the cool coastal climate around it. That's the promise of the hardy yellow. It gives you a sensory experience that feels distinctly tropical and indulgent, yet it somehow flourishes in the mild, short summers of places like Vancouver Island and the Pacific Northwest.
So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with its Italian roots, then dive into that unique honey fig profile. After that, we'll look at exactly how it thrives in coastal climates, go over some practical cold climate growing strategies, and finish up by comparing it to other popular varieties.
Let's jump right into Part 1, Italian roots, Canadian soil, and the journey of Lattarula.
The history of this tree is literally a living piece of agricultural history. Back in the early 1900s, Italian immigrants brought cuttings of this prized common fig over from Liguria, Italy, to North America. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, and it had taken such a strong hold in local Italian neighborhoods that it actually earned the nickname the Seattle honey fig. Today, it's been widely adopted by Canadian coastal gardeners. It's a heritage plant perfectly adapted to its new home.
Moving right along to Section 2, the honey fig profile, a sensory deep dive.
Okay, so what does this fruit actually look and feel like? It produces a medium-sized fig, usually around 35 to 45 grams. It has this delicate skin that beautifully transitions from pale green to a soft yellow as it ripens. Shape-wise, it's a classic pear with a very short neck. But the real magic happens when you open it up. That skin gives way to a light amber honey gold interior. The texture is distinctly syrupy and jelly-like. And unlike some figs that have a really gritty seed crunch, the hardy yellow is notably smooth with an incredibly high juice content.
Now for the flavor. You'll notice right away that this leans entirely away from tartness. It offers a zero acidity, totally dessert-like experience. The primary flavors hitting your palate are rich honey, warm vanilla, and some light floral undertones. Beneath all that, you might catch secondary notes of ripe melon, pear, and pure sugar syrup. Because the acidity is so low, the perceived sweetness is just exceptionally high. Honestly, it ranks as one of the absolute sweetest cold climate figs you can possibly grow.
That brings us to Section 3, thriving in coastal climates. Let's talk about why it actually works in Canada.
You might be wondering, how does a tree with such sweet fruit manage to flourish in cooler environments like the Gulf Islands or coastal British Columbia? The answer lies largely in its fruiting cycle, specifically its strong Breba crop. If you're not familiar, a Breba crop is the initial batch of figs that develops on the previous year's wood rather than on new spring growth. They emerge early in the spring and ripen right in the midsummer months of July and August. This is a brilliant, absolutely vital adaptation for maritime regions with short summers that just don't have the late-season heat required to ripen a main crop.
Of course, cultivation success really depends on your specific hardiness zone. In Zone 7 and 8, which covers a lot of coastal BC, performance is excellent with minimal protection. It handles cool nights and coastal fog like a champ. In Zone 6, it still performs well, but you are going to need winter protection. By the time you hit Zone 5, planting it in a container is highly recommended. And if you're up in the harsh winters of Zones 3 and 4, you absolutely have to grow it in a container and move it indoors for the winter.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, cold climate growing strategies. Let's get into the pragmatic side of cultivation.
Negative 12 degrees Celsius. That number is incredibly important to remember. Negative 12 is the exact threshold where serious winter protection becomes mandatory. Remember how we talked about that vital Breba crop forming on last year's wood? Well, if those branches are exposed to temperatures below negative 12, you're going to see freeze damage, and you will lose those precious Breba buds before spring even has a chance to arrive.
Now, what if you're dealing with a particularly cool or overcast year and your main crop is struggling? You have to force the tree to focus its energy, and you can do that with 3 simple steps. First, pinch off the growing branch tips in July so the tree stops spending energy on new leaves. Second, reduce your watering in late August. Stressing the tree just a bit actually intensifies the sweetness of the fruit. And finally, systematically remove any late-season figs that clearly won't mature. That redirects all the plant's final energy right into ripening the viable fruit before the frost hits.
Coastal autumns bring a lot of rain. And because the hardy yellow has such thin, delicate skin, the fruit can actually split open in heavy downpours. So creating sheltered microclimates is essential. Try planting against a south-facing wall. It acts as a thermal mass, reflecting crucial heat right back onto the tree. For winter, heavy mulch and breathable trunk insulation are key. During September and October, throwing up a simple, clear plastic rain cover can literally save your harvest. And here's an interesting tip. Avoid over-fertilizing with nitrogen mid-season. Too much fertilizer will give you lots of leafy growth, but it'll actually dilute that signature honey sweetness.
Finally, let's head into Section 5, comparing the hardy yellow to contextualize your choice.
Let's stack it up against the Desert King first, which is arguably the reigning champion of Pacific Northwest figs. While the Desert King does produce an even larger Breba crop with a distinct strawberry-like berry flavor, the hardy yellow offers a totally different culinary experience. It gives you that syrupy, pure honey flavor. The fruit is slightly smaller, sure, but it boasts a much earlier and far more reliable main crop than the Desert King.
What about the Celeste fig? While the differences here are really textural and environmental, the hardy yellow is going to give you a much juicier, jelly-like bite, but it's a bit more cold-sensitive, meaning slightly more winter insulation is required. The Celeste, on the other hand, gives you a firmer texture and has superior drought tolerance, which makes it a better fit for drier, hotter microclimates.
And then there's the famous Chicago Hardy. Now, if extreme winter survival is your absolute only metric, Chicago Hardy wins. It can survive significantly colder snaps. But the trade-off is that it sacrifices that pure vanilla honey sweetness for a darker, berry flavor profile. If your climate allows for it, or if you're willing to use containers or wrap your tree, Lattarula provides an unmatched, light amber sweetness that the Chicago Hardy just cannot replicate.
Okay, so it's finally time to harvest. Patience is everything here, because figs do not ripen off the tree. You have to wait for the right visual cues. You're looking for the skin to turn soft and slightly translucent. Often you'll see a literal drop of sweet nectar, a honey drop, appear right at the eye at the base of the fruit. Most importantly, the fruit shouldn't stand out straight anymore. It needs to physically droop downward under its own weight. Once you pick it, the clock is ticking. You have a very short 1 to 2 day shelf life to enjoy them fresh, dehydrate them, or make some incredible jam.
We've explored its rich Italian heritage, its brilliant adaptation to coastal climates, and the pragmatic steps required to protect it through those cold Canadian winters. The hardy yellow perfectly balances an heirloom Mediterranean flavor with rugged coastal pragmatism. So, knowing that true liquid honey can literally be grown in your own northern backyard, what's stopping you from planting one yourself?